Hey, I'm Gerald. This is Terry. This is Shane. We're three brothers together. Hey guys, we thought we'd do a little skill saw safety. You guys, first thing in any saw that you need to check, number one, you need to have a good cord. This is one that I've installed on this saw because the one that came on it, the insulation had broken and cracked and was gapping and that kind of thing, so I replaced it. And I replaced it with a 12-3 very heavy duty cord. Heavier the better. So I made it just a little longer than what is normal. This is probably a good 8 feet long on this cord. Making sure that I had a replacement plug with a ground on it secured. They make better plugs than these, as a matter of fact, and I would probably, given a choice, I will later replace this with a better plug. This is fine. It's waterproof. It's doing everything I want it to do, but nevertheless, I'd like to have a better plug on it. So you want to make sure that no breaks in your cords, that it's attached to the rear of the saw really well, and so that it's safe. Well, let me talk about a few things about a saw. On this particular brand, Shane's going to just move that over here so I can show them. It has a series of incremental gauges here in inches and quarters. And here you can see it. I like this saw because it tells you where zero's at from the side. And when you've cut 1 inch in, 2 inches, and all of the fractions up to eighths, no less than that, nothing in 16ths or 32nds, but just the eighths, quarters, halves, and so on, all the way up to 7, 8, and 8 3/4 inches from point A to point B. The same thing across the front of the saw. I've got too much dust on it perhaps to show all of this, but if you look right there, from 0 going back this way, 1 inch, 1.5 inches, 2, and so on, all the way up to 4, 5 inches. The saw is equipped with, basically, if you want to understand really this saw, you have to think about it like it's a table saw. This lever here in front, you loosen it, and it allows this table to tilt like so, and it gives you the degree right here on the side: 0, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, and finally 55 degrees. If you've used one of these things a lot, it is almost as good as a table saw. I really like my circular saws. So that is how you set your degrees on the saw. Then, of course, on the back of the saw, it has another lever here that allows you to adjust the depth of the blade. And you loosen that by pulling it up, and let me just bring this guard up, and you can see that adjusts the depth of your blade really well. All the way, you can just skim the surface, cut 1/8 of an inch deep, a 1/16. You can just, lots of things you can do with it. So that's how you set that. You flip the little lever down, and remember, when you're adjusting these little levers, it doesn't require a lot of pressure. Just, when it gets firm, you've adjusted enough. And of course, the blade is going to turn, if you're looking at the front of the saw like you're looking at it, it turns in a counterclockwise. In other words, the cut is happening on the upstroke always. So if you have little issues about when you're cutting plywood and one side is burring and the other side's cutting sharp, it means that one side of your set of your teeth is dull and it's causing that fuzz. It's breaking up little splinters up just like that on the edge of it. And depending on which side is the dullest, both sides could be doing it. It's time when it just starts doing that especially if you're cutting plywoods across the grain, you're going to need to change the blade. It also has a little stop right here that pushes in, and that's how you lock the shaft in order to take the blade off. These this little nut or screw, if you want to call it that, the blade is turning this away, and so the screw tightens opposite of the turn of the blade. So you would be, if you're facing the saw as you are now, you would put your wrench on there and you would take it back away from that. And so I'll just show you what this little lever does. When this blade goes around, it's going to be searching for a notch, and there I found it. That locks that blade completely so you can get your wrench on it. You're not standing there trying to hold the teeth. Older saws did not have that mechanism in them. So you had to get a pair of locking pliers and lock your blade down. Then you had to put a wrench on it to loosen it. And it was slow and cumbersome. So that was really a plus when they started putting that on saws. This is a 7 1/4 inch. It turns the RPMs. Let me see if I can find it here. This one turns about 5,800. That's fast. That's really fast. 5,800 RPMs in that direction. Remember, never get your hands around this. If you have a saw that's lower guard, that's another one of the things you want to check. This lower guard, retractable blade guard, must be active like it is right now. So it has two places to hold it. One here where the trigger is, and another, many times you have to do a plunge cut, which means you're setting the saw down, dropping it into the materials this way. And you have to be able to raise this lower blade guard up. So this extra handle here is made to catch like so. You can see I'm doing my hands here, and you can hold that safely. So it's simply this every time with your hand over here, just like I've got it, and you've got it's safe enough to squeeze that trigger and run the saw. So you must always keep your hands away from this blade. Never have your hands on this side, on the side where the blade is actually set, trying to cut there. Now I do use this as a gauge many times, and I'm just going to turn around here and show you how I do that. If I want to cut a straight line with my saw, and let me just raise this up because I don't want to move around here with this. Right there will allow me to do it. If I want to cut, say, an inch or so, and I want it really, really straight, and this is what I do. This one here is set for inches. I have two grooves here, one for your 90-degree angle, which means the blade is setting straight up, and one gauge here when I need to bevel the saw, like so. I must revert to that one there. On everything up to from about 30 degrees and forward, you'll need to use that secondary gauge. So when I'm cutting and I want to cut 1, 2, 3 inches of rip, I will look through this part right here because this saw is equipped with it. Let me show you. You're able to see that blade through that port right there. You can see the blade. See my finger there? That means you can see that where you have to set your saw blade to start your cut. So when you have it down, you can see right through that. That allows you to get started. So once you've got it started that way, I'm going to raise it up here just so I can show how I use it. And I want to make a 1, 2, or 3, 4 inch cut, and I want it straight. I'll get it started and just simply pinch with my 2 fingers the side of the saw and keep it parallel and right down through there, and I can make as straight a rip on a piece of 1x4 or 2x4, 2x6 as I can with the table saw. And there you have it. Very precise tool. This is also equipped for a little extendable guide here that comes out this way and allows you to rip. They're in my way, so I generally just take them off the saw, or if they're a separate unit, never put it on. I never put it on the saw. It's just something else to hang in my clothing and my apron and cause me difficulty. So remember, keep your hands away from these blades. Always put a sharp blade in when you notice it's fuzzing and that kind of thing. Take the time to change the blade. The number of teeth does matter. The more teeth you have, the finer cuts it will make. The less teeth, the better. Now I'm going to show you right here. This saw needs a blade in it. That's the reason I don't have it on my truck, and I'll just show you what they look like. This is a carbon tooth blade. Now when a tip is gone, right there it is. That little carbon tip, it's made like a chisel, is missing from that one. And so I'll turn it on around here and perhaps we'll find another one that's missing. Some of them's got the corners off of them. So let me see if I can just turn this and let you look. It looks like some of the teeth have the corners off of them. There's another tooth missing. So it's absolutely time to get to change this blade. Remember, safety first. Don't play with it. Treat it with the greatest respect. You might want to put a little oil, spray oil in these joints where all of it moves and rubs metal to metal. It will cause it to gather a little dust, but a little air hose, you can blow it off, you're good as gold. So, there you have it. A little circular saw safety. Save your hands. Look guys, I've been at this a long time. I have all 5 on that hand. No odd fingernails other than what a hammer smashed. On this hand, all 5 fingers, all of which have fingernails on them. No major cuts or scars on my hands. And so that means that for about 35, 40 years, I've been treating one of these with the greatest respect. And they are a lifetime tool. So, there you have it. A little saw safety. I hope you have a good day. Be careful with your tools. That way they'll be careful with you. We'll see ya. Pretty good day. It's better than setting it on. If you enjoyed any of this, if you're learning anything, subscribe. Like our channel.
Like.
That's right, like. And
Like.
share it with your friends. Share.
Share. All your friends.
Even on Facebook.
Yes. So, that'll make us happy and we can afford meal for cornbread and fire for our stove. We appreciate you. We'll see you guys.